Okay everyone, welcome back to another video on the channel. Today we're back with the new weekly races on Gran Turismo Sport, starting with Daily Race A at Lago Maggiore. It's the centre version and it's a very short track and possibly one of the slowest combinations I can remember in a long time. This car has no power, and when I mean it has no power, let's take a look at this 0 to 60. So let's go. Starting off in first gear, let's see how long it takes us to get to 60 miles per hour. We're up into second gear and we're already at the 8-second mark and we're not even at 50 miles per hour yet. So can it beat the 16-second mark? We're going to hit 60 miles per hour just on 16 seconds. A very, very slow car, and if I'm honest, a little bit of a boring race this one. Daily Race A, it's not the most exciting. You're going to get a lot of people barging the way through like that, and again through there. It's going to happen, and I kind of think that's the only way you're going to get overtakes done on this combination, because it's such a slow-paced combination. So you're going to have to get your shoulders out on this one and push past, but try and keep it a bit respectful, a bit like touring car driving. Get your elbows out, but obviously don't ram them off the track. So yeah, this is how it's going to be. Now you're going to notice here, I go into 4th gear there. That is a mistake. Do not go into 4th gear at that point of the track, because the car has that little power, it can't get up this hill in 4th gear. So you need to stay in 3rd gear and let the rev stay high, and you'll keep a little bit more top speed. So down into 2nd gear for the final corner, and then try and get on that throttle nice and early. We get quite a nice run on the exit there. We're going to have a little look on the left hand side, get a little bit cut off there, and we're going to probably not have the slipstream, so we're going to tuck back into P9 slipstream and see if we can find the way past any of these cars. This race is going to be very difficult to really from the back of the grid to try and go for a win unless it's a chaotic race, because the cars are so slow. You just don't really get much opportunity to do overtaking. As we see the 2 cars in front, one gets pushed out wide. I see him go on the grass, so I braked very early because I knew that he was going to go sliding across our path. Tuck up underneath, and we get that move done up into P10. So 2 positions gained in this race so far, or I can't remember if we started P11 or P12, but maybe 1 position gained in this race so far. This time though, we stay in 3rd gear on this section. You'll see what I mean now. Stay in 3rd gear there. It will just keep a little bit higher top speed and keep you a bit more momentum going up this hill. So yeah, bear that in mind when you're doing this race, if you're doing this race. It's not the most entertaining daily race I have ever come across in my life, if I'm brutally honest. It's a little bit too slow. Some people might enjoy it, but yeah, I can't see myself doing too many of these races this week. I think Daily Race B and Daily Race C are the entertaining ones. Daily Race C is very difficult. We'll get to that later on in the video. You're going to see a lot of fails by people on Daily Race C, but yeah, Daily Race B is an entertaining one. But this, you can see we're up to P10. We're getting pushed wide a bit. It's just one of them races. I think it's going to get quite frustrating. We get a nice run from here though. We're going to try and see if we can hold this inside line, and we're going to get our elbows out like they are with us. You can see we're going to hold this inside line. We're not going to give up that corner. A little bit of contact there, but we give them the space on the exit, and we get ourselves up into P9 with the slipstream now to P8. So yeah, we've gained a couple of positions in this race, and we haven't really been driving that bad. I mean, it's just very difficult track to overtake on, really, unless you've got chaos at the front. If you get a lot of chaos, as we throw one up the inside there, a little bit of contact again, but again we give them the space on the outside. But they're the type of moves you're going to have to do at this combo. If you want to get past people, if you want to sit behind people the whole race, then fair enough. But other than that, you're going to have to send some moves up the inside and go for some good moves. You can see as we got away from that group behind us, we're going to go into the final lap. It took us a lap or so just to catch up to this group in front, but which our pace wasn't too bad, if I'm honest. You can see 8 minutes flat with no slipstream, and we're just getting that slipstream now of the cars in front. So into turn 1, braking just before the 50 board if you can. Try and keep it nice and smooth for that corner. Stay in 3rd gear, then down to 2nd gear. Rotate the car, get on the yellow bit of tarmac on the right hand side, and then on the throttle as early as possible. Stay on the throttle pretty much flat out as soon as you're on it. Don't lift now. It's completely flat all the way to the final corner. So very easy track. That's why you're probably finding it's very hard to overtake. Into the final corner. Now there is multiple ways you can do this. The best way to do it is braking very late, almost past the 50 board, and squaring the car off. But this time I braked just past the 50 board, but I turned in a little bit too early. You can see got very good traction, almost cut the corner, but we managed to keep the foot flat down on the power and just about keep it on the track. And as the 2 cars in front of us get a little bit of battling, we're going to go down the right hand side of P7, and then we're going to push our way into that gap on the left hand side and see if we can take a P Steve in this race. And we do. We managed to just creep into P Steve, and yeah, that's about as exciting as Daily Race A is going to get in my view. So we're going to move on to Daily Race B. It's at Tokyo, and it's in the reverse layout. It's in, well, it's the east inner layout, I think it is called. And yeah, this is a weird one. I haven't done this track much. I think we've done it once or twice before. It's actually quite fun though. It's very fast paced. I think the other layout, when you kind of go in the other way, is probably a bit more technical. This one's a little bit easier in my view, because there's less lifting and a lot more aggressive cornering really in this one. But into turn one, the car behind you see there had a little look, didn't make that move. We hold on to P1, starting from P1. I actually set a lap time that within a couple of laps put me in the top 10 stars, so pace wise should be alright here. I mean, I think I can get down into the 55s pretty easily. I just did a 56.1 after a couple of laps, so yeah, I'm sure we'll be reasonable. I might just leave it on that lap time though, just so we start a little bit further back, so the races are quite entertaining. Because I think if we start at P1, it'd probably still be entertaining anyway, because of the slipstream in this combination. It's all about slipstream, and that is why you're going to need this McLaren, because I think without any other car, you're going to find it hard to overtake unless you go the McLaren, and we'll show you why later on in this race. So working our way through here, trying to keep the momentum. Be very careful on the walls at this combination, because the penalties are extreme. Like a little tap on the wall and you'll be getting a 1.5 second penalty instantly. It's very, very tricky. You've got to be careful. It's so easy to pick up them penalties. As we look behind to see what sort of cars we've got in this slipstream train, and we've only got 2 other cars behind us. The other group fell back, so we're in a 3-car race for the podium here, and this should get quite interesting as the driver behind us decides to bump draft us. That is going to be the way to do this race. If you want to get good results, you're probably going to be bump drafted, but I'm going to be brutally honest. When it comes to doing this, when we're streaming it, we're going to be overtaking probably. We want to overtake and have some fun at this combination. So I'm going to go for moves rather than bump drafting too much, because I get that it's the best way to do it, but it's a little bit boring for a daily race B. So we're going to make it a little bit more entertaining when we do this race later on in the stream, as we have the driver go for a massive move up the inside. I saw it coming, tight up on the apex there, and we get a nice exit and just hold on to that P1. We saw it coming, braked, got the rotation on the McLaren. Down to first gear really gives you very good rotation with this McLaren. It really rotates the car in the middle of the apex, and then you can early upshift a second. It's got the power to do that, and yeah, it's a really good car for that kind of thing. So through here, very fast section of track again, try and get the car into the apex. I missed the apex slightly there. However, behind us there's an issue. Them 2 cars managed to lose the slipstream here. You can see that they're almost lost the slipstream completely. I keep the foot flat down, and we've got that gap over 7 tenths, so we're out of the slipstream range. However, as we come through here, you're going to see this is what I'm warning you with regards to the penalty system. Trying to take this quite aggressively to pull away, and we just clip the wall there, and an instant 1.5 second penalty, and that is what is going to happen if you overdrive this track. So you're going to have to be seriously cautious. Also, if someone pushes you into the wall, you're going to have to be very careful as well, because you can also get the penalties by being pushed into the wall. So let's hope people don't exploit that one. But yeah, in P1 now, the Lamborghini. I've got max powers in front of us now. We're outside the slipstream, but we don't need to worry, because we have got the most insanely OP car on this combination for top speed. So we just carry on, get into the slipstream of max power, and we're going to go past him. There's no point bump drafting that Lamborghini, because this McLaren will easily outpower that Lamborghini. Now, the Lamborghini can overtake it if it gets a very good slingshot, but it'd have to get the perfect slingshot to do it. So I was pretty confident if we just stay ahead and do this tactically, we should be able to hold on to this position in this race. So into the braking zone, you can see he's not going to go for a move here. He's just going to stay behind. He's a little bit too far back. And again, that first gear rotation into that corner is so good in the McLaren GTR. It really does help its pace out at this track, I think. So working our way up the hill. And again, we're going to try and get forward a little bit further on in the race here now. So we join the race on the end of lap 3 and the start of lap 4. Now you can see that max power in the Lamborghini is deciding to bump draft me here, because there is no point in him really going for an overtake at this stage of the race, because if he tries to overtake me here, we're just going to go flying back past him on the main straight. So he's just going to bump draft us there and try and do this tactically. So I was aware of what he was doing, so I'm going to stay to the right in case he tries to go past us here though, and try and, you know, on the fast corners. The Lamborghini is pretty good on the fast corners, probably a bit better than the McLaren, but we take that tight line, hold on to the position, and he's clearly going to try and get a slingshot on the back straight to get the win in this race. So we're going to fast forward this section of the lap. As we see, he's maintaining that gap behind us, and yeah, this is just very fast action. Not really much technical driving in this track. It's just a few fast corners, a couple of braking zones, pretty easy track if I'm honest. Into the final corner, And this is where I decided to lift off the throttle. Look, completely off the throttle. I'm not going to accelerate out of this corner again. I lift off the throttle here because we don't want him getting the slingshot. Because if we get that gap at 4 or 5 tenths, he's going to go flying past us. So he also did the same. He's going to have a slingshot now, but will it be enough to get us for the finishing line? I was pretty confident if we can get on the downhill section ahead of him, the McLaren's power will take over and we should be able to hold on to P1. So on the downhill section now, he's going to try and break away from that slipstream. He's got a bit of a slingshot, but it's not enough. We managed to start pulling back away just about on the finishing line and hold on to P1. So an enjoyable race, and yeah, quite a tactical race there. We had to lift to make sure he didn't get the slingshot. And now we're going to move on to daily race fail. This race is going to be full of so many fails. It is hilarious. So many people are finding this combination difficult. And to add to that, it's a standing start. So yeah, starting our first race of the day on this combination, we're going to show you 2 races now. Starting from the line, traction control 1, revving almost at full revs. We get a good start. Car in front ghosted and then on ghost right in front of us. So the first F of the day there, I don't know what was going on with the ghosting system, but it ghosted him and then just unghosted him right in front of my car. So thank you, PD, for that one. So we're down to P20. We have 1 car off straight away into turn 1. So there's an F in the chat for that one. And then another F in the chat for P17 there. He's off into the grass, into the barrier and out as well. So we're up to P18. And this is going to be quite common occurrence at this combination, I think, on Monday. Maybe as we progress through the week, people are going to get used to it. But as we go through next corner, we got another F all the way out on the outside of the track. Another car going very slow through. Another car off there. We have another car spinning in front of another car spinning and another car spinning. And we're up to P12. And yeah, we've got a penalty in front of us as well. So that is the type of chaos that you are going to be witnessing at this combination. It is absolutely hilarious. I couldn't hide my smiles while I was racing this because it's quite funny. And it's quite an enjoyable combo as well. For me, I find it not too difficult in this car. The traction, you just got to be very progressive with your throttle input. So try not to floor the throttle too much. Out of some of these corners though, you can floor it in second gear and the car will grip as long as you're not putting too much steering input in. So yeah, just bear that in mind. Another thing I would say is try not to use second gear on a couple of corners. I'll show you in a bit as we have another car off the track and we're now up to P11. So even after that fail start with the on-ghosting system, we're up to P11 and we haven't even done a lap yet. So we're going to work our way over the line to finish lap 1 in P11 from the back of the grid. And let's see if there's any more chaos moves and stuff going on in front of us as we go into turn 1. Driver in front of us goes a little bit wide there. We're going to get a bit of a run on him here. We're going to go slightly wide and then try and cut back on him maybe, but no, that's not going to work out. A bit of understeer in this car. You have to be quite cautious through that corner with the understeer from this old school F1 style car. So into the braking zone, we see he had a penalty. He's took that as we have 2 more cars going wide. And we're going to take the inside line. Staying in third gear through that corner really gives you way more speed. I'm going to try and show you that a little bit further on, the difference between someone who does it in second gear and someone who does it in third gear. Do not do that corner in second gear. Third gear is the corner to do that corner. The gear to do that corner, sorry. So into this section here now, just trying to stay as close as we can and see if we can take advantage of people making mistakes really, because everyone just seems to be struggling with this combination. I don't think I've ever seen so many fails in my life and so many mistakes by drivers. Clearly a lot of people struggling with this car, but I actually don't find it too bad. So working our way up the straight now, going over the line, we have a yellow flag in the middle of the straight and we have a car out of, I don't know what has happened there. There must have been some sort of contact with another car for a car to go off there, but we've gained another 3 positions. So another F in the chat or in the comments. Get them Fs in the comments for the amount of times we've seen people crashing, and let me know how many people you saw making mistakes. I have no idea. It's got to be a high number because I don't think I've ever seen a combination with so many crashes and errors by other drivers. So work our way into this section again, stay in third gear. You're going to see the difference here. We stay in third gear and watch the acceleration difference between the driver there and ourselves and the car in front there. Losing control in the corner, that's another 2 positions for free as he loses a little bit of momentum by losing the rear. So up to P6 now, and we're only on lap 3. So this race going okay so far. We're doing quite well. However, there was one thing that we need to point out in this race, but we're going to point that one out a little bit later on, as there is another fail that you're about to witness, but it'll be a bit later on. So staying in P6 here now, can we find our way past these drivers? We're 4.4 seconds away from the leader of the race, presuming that they've probably started on the softer tyre as well. We're on the hard tyre, so at this point the race is looking very good as P5 runs a little bit wide, nearly spins in front of my car. Luckily, we managed to hold on to that, and he didn't spin either. So we're up to P5 now and working our way over the line to start lap 3. So we've gained quite a lot of positions here. Fast forward the action, see if we get to this group up ahead. We see a penalty for P3, and we can see that they're battling. One car runs a little bit wide there, and there's going to be a bit of contact between them. Will they manage to get through the corner? P4 all out of shape there, and getting out of shape on throttle, and another F in the comments there for P4. This is just, I don't think I've ever witnessed so many mistakes in my life on Gran Turismo, and I'm talking about in lower lobbies as well when we've been racing from the back. This is just crazy. People are really struggling with this car, and I can see why, but I don't think it's as hard. If you're progressive with the throttle, you should be okay. Just try and be very progressive with that throttle inputs. Wait until the grip's there. See 50% throttle. Once the grip's there, then put that throttle down, and you'll get overtakes done so easy on this combination, because people make so many mistakes. I'm sure by Wednesday, stuff like that, people will be starting to pick up their pace on this one, and hopefully they'll be driving a lot better. So we're going to skip ahead now to lap 7. We've managed to catch up the lead battle here, and we're in P3, and we're on the hard tyres here. So this is looking insanely good for a good result here. So we get a really good exit off that corner. You can see we're going to go tight to the apex. And I decide, let's go in the pits here. Instead of fighting him, get in the pits and straight away get them hard tyres off and get the medium tyres off, and see if we can get an undercut here. So out the pit lane, we didn't refuel there. Now that is possibly going to be an issue, because as far as I'm aware, we haven't had many daily races where fuel saving is required. And at this point, I had no idea what the settings were. So we go for a move on that driver there, and he decides to try and pit right as I'm going up the inside there. That really caught us by surprise. But luckily, he got in the pit lane, and we didn't get affected. And we didn't get a penalty either because of the contact. The game must have realised that there was contact there, so we didn't get the shortcut penalty. So working our way down the straight now, have we managed to get ourselves in the lead? And we have, by quite a large margin. Now, I was a bit confused why it was such a large margin, but we're about to find out, because like I say, I didn't look at the fuel settings for this race, and I honestly didn't think this would be a fuel saving race. However, you're about to witness the biggest F in the comments or chat, whatever you want to call it. You'll see, as I didn't refuel up because I didn't think there was any fuel needed. And yeah, we've run out of fuel on lap 12, and this is painful. We've got to work our way all the way up this hill with no fuel. So we're going to fast forward the action because it would take forever otherwise. So fast forward the action, we're losing positions. Look, on lap by that driver who found it quite funny as well. I'm presuming he was laughing his head off there, but we're going to go in the pits, refuel back up, and you can see you do need to refuel or do a bit of fuel saving, and I like that. That makes this race a little bit more tactical. So yeah, credit to PD, they actually brought fuel saving into a daily race for a change. Now we get on further on the race, and a few drivers in this race also ran out of fuel, which put us back up into P10. And then as we go over the line, another driver has not changed his tyres, kept the same tyres, or just used medium tyres to the finish, and we gain another position, so up to P9. So I decided to go again because I was like, we should have won that race. I should have comfortably won that race, and I wanted to get a win from the back of the grid. So I thought, why not, let's go again, and let's see if we can see even more fails in another race, because that was entertaining anyway. So let's go for another one, have some fun. So starting from the back again, we're in P16 this time. Car behind just started about 10 years too early, and we're going to start this race, and we see another car start. Chaos everywhere, all over. We're up to P10 from P16, and we're not even into turn 1 yet. Absolute murder going on. People jumping the start. It's just quite comical, I have to say. So working our way through here, we're up to P9 now. A great start on these hard tyres, and we're going to nearly gain the position there. We got a little bit of loose rear end there, just about managed to save it. But yeah, we're in P9 still on hard tyres. So quite a confident, decent start there. As we go through turn 3 or 4, whatever, I'm not sure if it's 3 or 4 with the chicane. So we go through there, and we got more cars making mistakes. Other cars up ahead, absolutely all over the place. Can we go for a move on this car? I decided to back out of that and then just go up the inside, and we'll go past him there. And then we'll see if we can overtake P5 as well in the braking zone, which we do. Brake late. P4's gone wide there, but we're up to P5, and we're not even halfway through lap 1. And that pretty much sums up how this race is going to be. Chaos. I think the only word to describe this race is chaos and Fs. A lot of Fs in the chat and a lot of Fs in the comments. I can't wait to stream this combination, because I'm going to be doing it from the back of the grid, because I think it's going to be a funny one, especially with the standing start. It's going to make for an entertaining stream. Can't wait to give this entertainment to you lot. I hope you lot are going to enjoy it. I'm definitely going to enjoy it. So let's see where we are. Up to P5. We're on lap 1. We know about the fuel this time, so you can see I've got my fuel mixture on there, because I now know about that. We managed to get into P4 as P4 makes a little bit of a mistake in the braking zone for turn 1 as we skip a little ahead until we catch up to P3 there. Fast forward in the action, we're getting very close to P3 and we're almost going to go for a move on the outside there, but he manages to stay ahead. But we're going to rejoin at normal speed now as we're trying to see if we can get into a podium position. Can we find the way past him? And again, you're going to see if you get good exits with this car, the advantage of doing so. You just get so much more exit speed. So again, he goes a little bit wide there. He's gone a little bit deep into the corner. That means he's not going to get the accelerator down properly. And now we've got a massive run on him. You can see the difference on traction. And now, because of that, we're now changing the gear that little bit quicker than him, which then gives us a run on him. You can see every time we get to the gear change, we're gaining on him and gaining. And we're on the outside now. Can we manage to brake later than him? He brakes very early. We take the outside line up into P3, and a little bit of chaos going on behind us as well. There's just so much going on in this race, and it's hard to keep up with the amount of people having issues and stuff like that. So we skip a little bit further on. We've managed to catch up to P2, and he goes a little bit wide there. Now he's going to get dirty tyres. Will he realise that he's going to get dirty tyres? And he doesn't. He nearly loses control on the entry into the corner, so that's a nice free position up into P2 on lap 6. So this race looking quite good. The leader out in the lead by over 7 seconds though. Can we catch that up? It's going to be interesting if we're going to be able to catch that up. So we're going to go in the pits again on the mid split. It's very hard to, I think you could do a lot more laps on the softs, but the point is if you pit too early, you're going to get into a lot of chaos with drivers. So this is going to be a really tactical race, whether you pit early and go for a bit of clean air but then come across traffic, because people are going to make mistakes, or whether you go a little bit longer on them hard tyres and have better tyres at the end. So that's what we've done here. 7-7 split. I'm sure you can do 9-10 laps with the soft tyres here, because the rear tyres do tend to degrade first, so you do want to run your brake bias a little bit towards the front. I was running -3 I think on the soft tyre. You might even want to go -4, but -3 should be fine. That will just keep your rear tyres alive a little bit more as we come through the final corner. Driver off, going wide there. Another mistake from the driver, and we're up into P5, but technically we're fighting for the win here. We're in P2, so it'll be interesting. When does P1 actually go for a pit stop? As we go over the line, he's still not pitted, so he's doing 9 laps at least on these soft tyres, and we've managed to catch back up to P2 now, who hasn't changed his tyres, and you can just see the difference. He's really struggling. Just look at the difference on acceleration as we come through here. We're able to put that throttle down so much earlier than him, and there you just got so much more grip and speed out of the corner. So into the braking zone again here. This is where you want to stay in third gear as we skip ahead a little bit further on in the race, and we're just coming to the stage where P1 has come out the pits. He's 3.2 seconds ahead. However, he's now going to be on them hard tyres, so we should be able to catch him up pretty quick. It's going to be it shouldn't take long at all. So we're going to fast forward this action on lap 10, and you can just see the difference of how fast we're catching him up. A lot of gains in the corners and on traction zones, and out of this final corner gaining a lot of time on him as we go over the line. Not a particularly great lap, it's a 19.3. We should really be getting in the 18s if I'm honest in the race, but we're just trying to get used to it, as well as fighting other cars and battling with other cars. So we've managed to get right behind them, and we're in the slipstream now to P1. Can we go for a move here? We're going to have to try and get him on this lap. Maybe the fuel is looking good. We've got plenty of fuel to go flat out to the end now, so the mistake will not happen this time. And staying in third gear there, you can see the difference in acceleration when you stay in third gear. Just look at this incredible difference there. As we go for a move, we're going to fake it, go up the inside, and we brake too late, but strangely we get quite good grip off the AstroTurf there. I was expecting to get spun off there, but we managed to get grip off of it, and we don't get affected too badly. So we don't lose out too much there. We're still behind P1, around 5 tenths, and we should be able to get past him once we get a good run off of the corner, because it shouldn't be that difficult with him being on the harder tyres. You can see he's struggling to get the racing line into the apexes there, and that is one thing you're going to have to really concentrate on this car, is getting your braking point. Make sure you brake a little bit early. Concentrate on getting your apex right, and then you can get on the throttle that little bit earlier, which will give you so much momentum coming out of the corners. You won't really have to do that much moves. It'll just be done on straight line acceleration, because you'll be getting better traction. As we're going to go for a move on P1, and you can see here that traction again, pace off, much better grip with the softer tyres into the braking zone. We can brake later than them. We brake quite late there, but just managed to hold the apex kind of. And then once we're in this position, we can just pull away, and I don't think there's much P2 could do now. So he faded off into the distance. We managed to push on, and we managed to take the win, and we didn't run out of fuel this time, and we won by 4.5 seconds. So a solid race. Definitely could have been driven much better by me, but we still managed to take the win. I hope you enjoyed that. Do remember to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button so you don't miss any future videos. And yeah, I'm going to be doing a lot of streams on this week. I find Daily Race B and C quite entertaining. Daily Race A, not so much. But yeah, Daily B and C, a lot of racing here this week. We're going to have a lot of fun. So I'll be seeing you in the live streams. Thanks again for watching, everyone.